What's going on? We're back to our exciting episode of Tech Productions. Today, Bankrupt joined once again by Fluff, Jake, and Nick.
What up?
What's going on, yo?
Howdy, howdy.
And today we're going over the Broly Paragus deck that got revealed a couple days ago. And actually, by the time this video drops, it's been a little bit further. But hey, who cares? We're busy. There's a lot to this deck, and we are going to talk about everything that was released in the 2 days. So we're going to try to do this quick, clean, and as easy as possible, and then talk about our reactions to these cards, what we think about certain engines. I know Nick hates part of this engine already, but we'll get to that point later. There's buttons, check them out, but let's get with the leader. So we got Broly and Paragus, which this tells us we're going back to the movies. Fantastic. Activate main, add up to one Broly or Paragus card, both green, with an energy cost of 1 from your deck to your hand. Shuffle your deck, negate the skill for game. Very similar to, I think, an older Broly list, a leader we had, where it had like a once per game effect, but it was really crucial. It gave you what you needed if you didn't have it already.
Yeah, I know Red Broly swap, you would activate the once per game effect to go get the field spell.
Mm-hmm.
Activate main. If you have 2 or more energy and you have a skillless Broly card in play, you draw 2 cards, add cards from your life to your hand. So you have 6 life left. Flip this card over, and then alternatively, you can awaken if your life is 4 or less. You draw 1 card, switch to 1 energy to active mode. What's cool about this is that looking at the set itself, you may go, "Hey, there is no skillless Broly," but that's because there's a card that we'll talk about later that makes a Broly skillless. The awakened side is SS Broly, Devil of Destruction. Permanent. Your red-green multicolor Broly cards in all areas have -1 combo cost and -5,000 combo power, which isn't bad, but at the same time, it's kind of like, well, this used to be a 10k, now it's 5k, but it's 1 card to combo with to rival other stuff. Permanent. During a battle in which your Broly card is attacking a battle card, your opponent can't activate counter skills. That alone is, I think, is fantastic, and it's a good way to help clear your opponent's board. If you have very powerful cards, you want to get rid of problematic cards. And then auto, when this card attacks, you draw 1 card. Additionally, you may place 1 green card from your battle area in the drop. If you do, this card gets plus 5,000 power for the turn. So getting a 20k swing could be nice.
Yeah. I like this leader a lot. The unawakened side, just guaranteeing to grab exactly what you need to get your chains going, is super nice. You don't have to mulligan that hard except for your later game pieces. And like Bancroft reiterated before, just reducing the combo cost of multicolor cards is huge. There's been many games where I've played Broly Surge where I've been stuck with 1 plus 10Ks in my hand, and now this leader essentially negating that cost is super good on defensive turns.
Moving over to the Z cards first, and then we'll kind of go into the deck itself. We're going to start with Gigantic Meteor of Destruction. It's a 1/1. Activate battle, limit 1. Remove this card from the game. Choose up to 1 of your cards. It gets plus 10,000 power for the battle. When an opponent's battle card is KO'd by that battle, your opponent discards 1 card from their hand. So just a little bit of hand control. But granted, it is an activate battle effect, so if you cannot guarantee that KO, don't do it. Activate battle, limit 1. If you have 4 or more energy, your Broly is in battle in which it is attacking a battle card, and you remove this card from the game. Your card that is in battle gets 30,000 power for the turn. Additionally, if an opponent's battle card is KO'd by that battle, you may place 1 of your Z energy in your drop at the end of the battle. If you do, your opponent discards 2 cards from their hand. So both really good effects, but both effects also remove this card entirely. And I will say before going further, there are 2 other Z cards for this archetype, or at least this set. One is being a leader, one being a battle card. So if you want to attack in other cards, be careful when you use these effects.
I like the fact that that Z battle card is the first effect is at any point in the time.
Mm-hmm.
So you can also use it as a defensive piece too. Just if you're on the back foot and you need just a way to defend yourself, you can use that card just to either keep a battle card alive or keep yourself from taking any type of damage. And a key thing here we'll see later on with the second activate battle is that plus 30k powers for the turn. So that really comes into play later on when we see more of the future stuff.
It's a huge buff, too.
So
Yeah.
go on.
Oh, sorry, just a real quick tidbit. What I was also thinking too, you could be really sneaky if you have the Son Goku Peace Resolution SCR. That gives your leader an additional plus 20,000 power for the turn it restands it. So if you use that secret rare choice in here, your leader is going to be an additional 50k power for that turn. Bonkers.
Yeah. Going over the Z leader, it's Z Awaken when your life is 3 or less, and you have a Broly's Ring or Dormant Legend in your drop, green Broly card, which is good because it can work on a lot of Broly leaders.
And Dormant Legend.
Yes.
Broly's Ring and
yeah, you
Dormant.
need both.
Yes, you do need both, but this will work with a lot of any Broly. I think almost any Broly. I think almost all the Broly leaders are green.
Yeah,
but yes, you do need both of these extra cards, which with combinations with certain Goten card. I think Goten is if you combo with it, you could take a extra card from
from the deck.
Is it dormant or any card?
It's dormant.
It's a field card. It specifies field card with an energy cost of 2.
So you can use those to fetch them.
But the new dormant, spoiler alert, only costs 1.
Yes, permanent. If you're your red green multicolor Broly cards in all areas, it's get a -1 combo cost. So the difference between here and the other leader is that you no longer lose the 5k, which is nice. So now it's just a 0-10k. Permanent during battles in which your Broly card is attacking a battle card, your opponent can't activate counter skills. So very similar still. But the auto is when this card attacks, draw 1. Additionally, you may place 1 green card, get a 10k boost instead of a 5k boost. So it's just a slightly better leader. Which I think is great. Like, a lot of times we see Z leaders and it's like, oh man, it's completely different. No, this one's just a slightly better version, which I think I like that. I like that approach.
I feel like I'm going to be talking a lot more on this than anyone just because I'm more familiar with all this stuff. But I was thinking using this, especially since this is a free Z Awaken, you don't really have to spend any energy, using this in the Surge Broly leader.
Yeah,
just as additional way to get draw power, because that, like, the way I see it is you get down to 3, that turns on your effects for Surge Broly, you pop those effects, your turn, your opponent's turn, get rid of the cards, Z Awaken for free, and then you have an actual draw engine on your backside.
And then the Z Battle card, which is a 2/2 SS3 Broly Triant. Unique permanent, when this card would be played from your Z deck, instead of paying this card's energy cost and Z cost, you may place 1 non-unique green card from your battle area in your drop and pay 1 green, and its Z cost is 1. So it becomes a 1/1 initially. Auto, once per turn, if you have 4 more energy, when a battle card is placed in the drop, this card gets plus 5,000 power and double strike for the turn, which goes really hand in hand with the leader, giving the leader a 5k boost or a 10k boost, and then turn around and give this card a 5k boost plus double strike.
Note that's a battle area card.
Yes.
Not a battle card. So when you resolve your own effects, you get to resolve this guy's effect.
Yes, which is very nice.
Swap fields out and get this effect.
This also would work with the Z Battle card, or the Z Extra card.
Yeah. Activate main once per turn if you have 3 or more energy and you place 1 non-unique card from your battle area in your drop. Choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So if you have no other way of proccing its own effect, just activate main, and there you go.
Yeah.
Dare I say this is the best 1-drop ever printed?
Initially, yes.
Yeah. This is actually really fantastic for decks that can really facilitate getting this guy to being a 1-cost, 1Z energy battle card. This guy's crazy.
Well, and the thing about this is there's no word on this that says if your leader's green or Broly. So you can use this. If you can pay 1 green energy, you can play this in any deck.
Yeah.
You saying I could play this in AOD?
You sure could.
Yeah. If you place 1 non-unique green card from your battle area into your drop.
Free play the Broly, pop a card, then pay 1, pop the Broly to play this Broly.
There's a reason it's an SR.
It's true. That is true. Moving over to the 1-drops for this deck, a lot of the 1-drops either have a way of searching cards or practically bringing you a Broly's Ring. So we'll start with the Broly Lone Warrior, which is on play, top 5 search. You add a green Broly or Paragus to your hand. There is no specified energy cost on that, so it's just any Broly or Paragus card, which is pretty cool. Paragus is Strategist. When this card's played, draw 1, then you activate up to 1 Broly Ring from your hand. And then the activate main is your leader is Green Broly, and you have a Broly card in play. You can play this card from your hand, and you can't play Paragus for the turn. So,
yeah.
Does that mean it's free? Sorry, hang on. My brain just skipped a beat. Yeah.
Yeah, you play this card for free.
It skipped a beat after I said that.
Yeah, so it's a free draw 1, play Broly's Ring for free, which is huge.
The next one, Paragus, Beginning of Ambitions. Auto when this card's played, choose 1. You either activate up to a Broly's ring from your deck, then shuffle your deck afterwards, which is fantastic. Or look at the top 5 cards of your deck, add a green Broly card to your hand, then shuffle your deck. Activate main, same thing. It's just a free play.
I
I definitely.
Oh, go ahead. Go
I was just gonna say I definitely prefer the strategist over this one. So for deck building and constraints and stuff like that, I would rather have the strategist. So if I'm going to cut one or the two, I'm going to cut the other and we'll play the strategist. Just because strategist is value town to me. Like,
well, the thing about the strategist is that it does draw you a card, but the Broly ring has to be in your hand to activate its effect.
Nor I've got to have a card in my hand.
I mean, yeah.
Well, I'm in the same boat as Bancroft. Honestly, I would rather be able to activate the card from the deck than from my hand, because that's one extra card out of your hand, so that's your hand advantage there, and you don't have to hard mulligan to see your field card. So, and I feel like with this type of list, since there are so many field cards, you kind of want to run as minimal as possible. So I feel like it'd be easier to hit from the deck than seeing it from the hand.
The last 1-drop Broly Imperagus, Father and Son Vengeance. Auto when this card's played, activate 1 Broly's ring from your deck, or drop, which I think it's fantastic that you're adding drop to it now. Shuffle your deck if you look through it. And then activate main, once turn, discard 1 card from your hand, add up to 1 red-green multicolor Broly card with energy cost 6 from your deck to your hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. Like I said, there's a lot of activating, a lot of pulling cards from your deck, a lot of drawing, which I think these 4 1-drops, in some pattern, figure out whatever is best for you. These are all good ways of starting just starting your couple turns out. Like, this is these cards, any of these cards you want to see turn 1, and they all have great effects that will do something that will help you benefit turn 2 and 3 and so on.
And with this card in particular, I like too is the being able to activate it from the drop. So say you already get your Awaken condition off and you go in, you already pop it, you can go back and do recurring essentially another chain. Really good recursion.
So going over, there's 3 field cards in this archetype that's coming out. The first one, Sealed Super Warrior. This is the one that's also treated as Broly's Ring. And this particular auto is for 1 green energy. If your leader is green Broly card, when this card in your card from your battle area in rest mode is placed in your drop, you play up to 1 red-green multicolor Broly card with energy cost 6 from your hand. So earlier we saw the 1/1 drop has that way of pulling that card to your hand, which is fantastic. This way you can then turn around and play that card for free. Well, I guess 1 green energy, but just by removing this card. And then the activate main on this card is actually how you awaken, which if you have a Perius card in play and you switch this card to rest mode, choose up to 1 of your Broly battle cards in a gate skill for turn. And initially, like I said, that lets you just awaken, which is cool.
Yeah, you could essentially get a turn 1 awaken off this. I don't know if that's the right call, I guess depending on the matchup, but because I feel like you'd want to get the 6-drop Broly out. So I feel like saving the awaken until turn 2 is probably the move. But if depending on, like, I guess really aggressive matchups or or really controlling matchups where you want to be aggressive, then it would make sense to pop it as early as possible. But having the option is nice.
And then we have Dormant Super Warrior, which is the second field card, this archetype, which this one's considered Dormant Legends. Auto, if your leader is green Broly card and you have 3 or more energy, when this card is placed in its owner's drop from the battle area, play up to 1 SS Broly Galactic Awakening from your deck, hand, or drop.
Glacial Awakening.
Glacial Awakening, yeah, well, I said Galactic, didn't I? But it pretty much it plays the Broly from any area, and if you look through your deck, you shuffle your deck afterwards, which this alone is, you do need 3 energy for it, but this card alone is really strong. For 1 energy, you're playing, I think, a 4-drop card. The last field, this is Nick's favorite card. But if your opponent it has a permanent, your opponent's leader gains the following skill. Activate main for 2 energy, choose to 1 field extra card in your opponent's battle area. Your opponent's leader gains the following skills. Activate main for 2 energy, choose 1 field card in your opponent's battle area, and place in the owner's drop. Then auto, limit 1 when this card is placed in a battle area, add up to 1 Bio Warrior card from your deck to your hand, then shuffle your deck. And then the secondary auto is when this card is placed in the owner's drop from your battle area, choose all of your Bio Warrior cards and place them in the drop. Which, yes, I guess this makes the Bio Warriors, we'll go over those later, but if they become a problem, your opponent can pay 2 energy to get rid of all of them. and it makes your opponent use his resources to remove them. Let's how about we talk about those cards first? Because I know this is like Nick's favorite part of this whole archetype.
Go ahead.
So we start with the 3-drops. There's Bio Warriors, Artificial Beings. Permanent. This card can't be played from any area unless you have Jaguar's Island in your battle area. When this card is played, add up to 1 Bio Warrior card from your deck to your hand, then shuffle your deck. And activate main for 1 green energy. If your leader is green, you play this card from your hand. So it's a 15k for 1 energy that can only be played with the field card in.
That also gives your opponent's leader the ability to destroy the field card.
Yeah.
It's just bad.
And then the other one is the 8-drop Bio Broly Out of Control Monster. Unique blocker. This card can't be played from any area unless you have Jaguar's Island in the battle area, and if you have a Broly card with an energy cost of 8 in your drop, which I like that part of it because it's like more on theme to what the archetype you pop a Broly, then this comes out afterwards. But the fact that you have to have the field card, permanent, this card can't be removed from your battle area by skills other than Jaguar's Island skill. And then activate main if your leader is Broly and you have 3 or more energy, you can play this card from your hand. So it is a free card to play. It's a 25k blocker that cannot restand, and you can only have 1 copy on the board. So
it's just bad. Like, a free 5k swing, I mean, sure, but just the conditions for that card and your opponent at any time during their turn can remove it. It's just bad. Like, there's no reason to play this.
For this to be playable, Jaguar's Island would probably need to be free. And then these Bio Warriors, even with the ability that they can't be removed from the battle area, other than with the Jaguar's Island effect, these would need to be so incredibly pushed for... Like, we've just looked over the rest of the archetype pretty much. And in order to compete with that for deck space, these Bio Warriors would need to be so pushed, and really all they are is sticky.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a world out there, maybe someone can figure this out, that you play the field card, you play 1 Bio Warrior, cool, it's a 15k for 1 energy, that pulls another one out of your deck. It does the deck out, which is nice, but the problem is that if your opponent wants to pay 2 energy off the bat to just get rid of all the problematic cards that's going to start to amass, which I don't think are problematic cards to begin with, because
I almost spit out my drink when you said problematic card. In what world is a sticky 15k problematic?
That's what I'm saying. Like, most Z leaders also are 20ks, so like they have to expend more resources just to make this card a threat because it doesn't get any boost, and also the 3-drops can be removed. It's only the 8-drop that can't be removed.
Yeah, no, I guess the 8-drops have the same permanent, right?
They can't be played unless you have the field card.
Yeah, these are terrible.
Yeah, in no world do I see these cards, even in like unless you want to play a flavorful deck and go through the entire Broly saga in a deck, there is no reason to play any of these cards. They are just Clunk City.
So the last 3 cards we're going to cover are really the red-green engine. So SS Broly, Glacial Awakening, Energy Exhaust Deflect, permanent. If you have a green Broly card in your energy or battle area, you get this card's Energy Exhaust skill in all areas, which I think is fantastic because it's green Broly card. Doesn't specify have to be a multicolor card. So your turn 1, you charge like a 1-drop Broly or whatever that you're not going to need because you already got one in your hand. Then turn around and you can just charge this card and you're good to go. Auto discard 1 card from your hand. When this card is played, choose up to 1 of your leader cards and gets plus 5,000 power until the end of your opponent's turn. And making your Z leader, who's already a 20k, a 25k, is just annoying for your opponent to have to like get over that hill. Like we know currently the Gohan deck with its secret rare makes it additional 20k boost. And a lot of times it just goes, all right, cool, I'll just do this and then pass my turn. Like, making your opponent expend extra resources is good.
Is there a way to play this card cheap?
Yeah, it's the...
Is it the dormant?
The field card.
I think one of the field cards could play for cheap.
Yeah, dormant warrior.
Brawly's Ring. Sealed Super Warrior plays the 6-drop.
The Dormant Super Warrior is
Yeah.
the one.
Auto, if your leader is green, you have 3 more energy. When this card is placed in the owner's drop from a battle area, you play it. From
Play
anywhere.
Facial Awakening.
From anywhere.
Backhand or drop.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I did that. Yeah. This card's dope.
This card's
Yeah,
good.
you essentially, and especially since the leader on any side will proc that effect where you pick a card and throw it in the drop. Just being able to do that is super good. And and at worst, it's a charge target, but it's going to be negated for energy exhaust. So it's
The great thing about this card is after it's played, its auto goes off, and then it doesn't lose anything for becoming a skillless card. This is a great target with the Brawly's Ring to make skillless. Because you're not losing a strike ability, you're not losing an activate main, you're not losing a battle trick. It's just a 20,000 essentially after it's been played.
The 6-drop SS Broly, The Nightmare Begins, shows us that Bandai no longer cares about hands, but they care about feet. Energy Exhaust, when this card is played, this card gains crit for the turn. Additionally, if you have 3 or more energy, you may choose one of your Paragus cards and place it in your drop. If you do, during that turn, this card can attack a battle card in active mode, which, if your opponent has a problematic card that's like, I do this, but as long as I don't go in rest mode, I'm good. No, who cares? I'm still going to attack you. Auto is returned when your opponent's battle card is KO'd by this card's attack. Switch this card to active mode. And then auto, when this card is removed from your battle area by a skill or KO'd, activate up to 1 dormant legend from your deck, hand, or drop. If you looked for your deck, shuffle it. Now, this one, is this one played by the other field card?
It's played by the Brawly's Ring.
Yeah. Super Warrior. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it plays the 6-drop. Yes.
It's very sequencing dependent and a little tricky. Like if you sequence wrong, you could just screw yourself out of an entire turn. But once you get the sequencing down in this deck, this card is hyperly playable. It's got a decent effect. Clear a battle card, restand.
Initially, it's a free dual attack crit, which that's one attack's going to a battle card. So you swing at a battle card, your opponent can't negate it. You KO the battle card, then you try to swing at the leader with 30k crit. Yes, please.
The only problem I foresee with this, like for that auto, is having the Paragus on board. Since they're all 1-drops, they're going to be kind of hard to be sticky, because with Dex removal, and especially if this sees any type of relevancy, especially in the meta, people are going to know to hit the Paragus so they're not on board at the time.
But I'll say, like, swinging into an active mode battle card is situationally fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's not required all the time.
Well, especially in this type of deck. Go ahead.
I was going to say, a lot of those Paraguses play for free, too. So
yeah,
it's not like even attacking them does very much.
And with this type of deck, since your leader says you can't, your swinging into battle card swings can't be countered, you're going to be guaranteed to getting at least a big body to remove something. And then if you wanted to, you go into your extra card jack animator's destruction, making it even bigger and removing and hitting cards from your opponent's hand.
The last card, if I recall correctly, is the 8-drop Broly, SS Broly Tenacious Onslaught. It is Energy Exhaust, Double Strike, and it has 2 ways of playing for cheap. You either EX evolve it using 1 red or 1 green energy. You draw a card, and it's on top of a red or a green Broly card with energy cost of 4, which we already know 1 can be played for free. And then you can rival this card for 1 green and 1 whatever energy. So initially 2 energy, red, green, rival. And then auto, when this card is played, your opponent discards 1 card from their hand, and then auto is returned. When an opponent's battle card is KO'd by this card's attack, you draw 1 card, switch this card to active. Additionally, if your opponent's life is at 2 or more, and your opponent has 3 or more energy, you deal 1 damage to them. So, like,
which is great.
If they're at 2, or for 1 energy, you're playing this card, you're popping a battle card just by swinging at it, because your opponent, either if they will have to combo out by 35k swing. If not, they will lose 1 life. If they go down to 2, if you have the energy, Secret Rare, if you're playing the old school Secret Rare, doesn't it like rip 2 life, or does it rip 1 life?
2.
From your opponent, yeah. So, like...
Scramble.
I don't know, I just think that's really cool tech if you want to go that route. But regardless, still, if they're at 2 life, and then you rip them down to 1, and depending on if they're tapped out or not, like, if they're tapped out, they can no longer use say if they had a negate blocker in their hand, well, now they can't use it because now they're at 1 life. Now they're forced to have the combo out of a 35k strike. This is good.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah, they fucked up by making this card. This card really good.
And it's so quick to play. Like, because there's also the old school red green Broly. I think it's a 4 cost that was a rival for 1 energy. Grant, in order to play that, when you need a dormant legend in your drop, but this deck could do it if you want to attack that card. I think that card on play will like nega card by 20 if I recall correctly as well.
Yeah, one thing I think this archetype did really well is it focused on the 2 things that green does well, which is KOing battle cards and discarding cards from its opponent's hand.
Mm-hmm.
And it offloaded the KOing to like a fun attacking mechanic. And then it doesn't really have like a deluge of hand control, but it picks enough at the hand that combined with cards that are already in the game, this is going to be a really, or at least in my estimation, this is going to be a strong deck.
Well, and when you consider it's got the traditional forms of hand control, pitching cards out of the hand, but it's got a secondary form of hand control too, where you're throwing large bodies into battle cards. If your opponent lets the battle cards die, they take a damage.
Yeah.
So if they're trying to protect their battle life or their life, they're going to have to protect those battle cards. Combo out. They can't negate the swings coming into the battle cards, so they're forced to give up cards in their hand to protect the battle cards on the field.
Which is, it reminds me of a mix between the old school SS4 Gurgia got banned because like its top end could just clear the board naturally. Now, granted, you couldn't combo against those, but still, like, it has the green element and then it has the board clear element, which I think is really good.
And this card has no unique on it as well, so you could establish multiples of these in the same turn. The auto for when it's played, they pitch a card is not once per turn, and the dealing damage is once per turn, unfortunately. But if you can't, if say they out combo the first swing, you're like, okay, I'll just arrival a second one.
And not just arrival, it's literally you free play the 4-drop, you evolve on EX evolve on top of it, swing, free combo a card to and then tap 2 to play the other one. Like, it's a good turn 3, turn 4 play, depending on if you go first or second. Like, this is a monster of a card. Now, granted, the auto is a once per turn, the damage part, but still, it's 2 35k double strikes coming at your opponent's leader once they're at low enough life that you initially just spent 3 energy to put on the board.
This card, good card.
So that is the Broly cards. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you all enjoyed us kind of going over the cards that were revealed and kind of just talking about it and giving our takes on it. Like always, buttons, links, check them out. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.